My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, but also getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. You can find a link to our playlist in the show notes. Welcome to episode 61. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Ashwarya. The pop singer from Melbourne has just released her debut EP, entitled Nocturnal Hours. In today's episode, we're talking about subverting expectations within songwriting, how she came to find her sound, and how Kanye, Bollywood and Queen influence her music. Here we go. Our guest today is a Melbourne-raised, Indian-born pop star who, after a minor COVID lockdown setback, has finally released her incredible debut EP, Nocturnal Hours. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Ashwarya. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Just back into lockdown in Melbourne, so fun times.
Of course. Did you find, and I know obviously lockdown is never fun, trying to find a silver lining in it. Did you find in the previous lockdowns you were able to kind of focus on music and writing and things like that, or was it other stuff to worry about?
Well, because I released my first single and the second and third through lockdown, I'd actually already finished them before we went into a full-on, pandemic, and I was stuck at home. So it was more about trying to figure out how to visually represent myself to people, and that's why a lot of my music videos were just shot in my garage or at home. So I guess I learned other skills outside of making music.
That's very fair. The music videos are incredible. You would not guess that they were shot in a garage.
Thank you.
No, that's all right. The To the Night video is this beautiful neon kind of incredible visual. When you are kind of coming up with how you want to be seen as an artist in terms of your video clips and things like that, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, I do a lot of sketching. So I kind of just like to write out a lot of words and draw a lot of images out on a big piece of paper and see what are the kind of similarities between what I'm thinking in my head to what's on paper, lyrically and melodically, and kind of match the two together. And then I'll just make a lot of Pinterest boards. And I watch an insane amount of music videos. I'm always very much into seeing what kind of angle the artist is trying to get at. Because sometimes a music video can be so surprising to look at. It's not something that you'd expect necessarily when you listen to it just sonically. So yeah, I think just a combination of consuming a lot of media and kind of the film and stories that I've grown up on as well.
Yeah, no, I can very much understand that. When you're making the music videos, or even with the music, do you find yourself, as you kind of said, when you're watching a music video, sometimes it will be something you don't even expect or that you wouldn't have pictured yourself. For you, and when you're creating your art, do you like to be able to kind of do that, to be able to subvert people's expectations and kind of keep them on their toes, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to do that, not not calculatively in music when I'm making music, or it's more a subconscious thing that I like to hear things that I don't expect, and that's why my music is sometimes, there's the tempo changes, and they can go from quite a hard hitting sound to a more vulnerable sound. And so when I want to present something visually to people, I also want it to be equally as surprising, or in some sense a little bit abstract as well, so that people can perceive it the way that they want to, and kind of if they want to dig deeper and figure out what it's all about.
Yeah, actually quite a few of the songs, what I really enjoyed about listening to the EP, which is out now, and we will come to that in a second, that I really enjoyed listening to the EP because musically, melodically, it did really keep me on my toes, which I think is a good thing. I think that sometimes you can fall into, and there's nothing wrong with it either, not discrediting any other musicians, but like if you kind of go like a 4-1, 5-1, whatever chord progression, and it's nice and it's great, and you can kind of anticipate what's coming, but when you are listening to a new piece of music and it kind of like knocks you back, or like I really had to go back and turn the stereo up and re-listen to your songs, because I just found it fascinating where, as you said, like the tempo changes and then it drops. And when you started making music and started kind of toying around with those ideas, what was the reaction like from people?
Do you mean as in like post-release or before even I put it out? Yeah,
actually both. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing was that when I had finished Psycho, I always knew that was going to be the first song that's going to come out. I didn't actually show a lot of people at all. I probably showed my mum and like a couple of close friends. That's about it. I don't think there was a lot of I didn't get to hear a lot of feedback, just because at the time the song was so close to me, and I just felt as a new artist I didn't want too many people's opinions to impact my decision that I wanted to put it out.
Of course.
So that was kind of the pre-release, and then post-release for all of my singles, because so far they've all had the tempo changes. I've had I'm very grateful that, so far it's been a really positive response. And I have had a lot of people tell me that, they really enjoy the tempo changes. And I guess because I've had almost a sense of, I think as an artist, you need to have that when you release music. You need to have that confidence when you put it out there that you're, no matter what other people think, you're very much secure with the sound that you're about to do. Even though I'm a new artist, I always felt like before every release, I was really proud and confident with what was going to be put out there. So, but I'm also, that it's all for, everyone's ears and your ears. So, I'm really grateful that the response has been really sick so far.
Speaking of confidence, there is a level of confidence in the music, and not like a cocky, arrogant thing at all. Nothing like that. You, in our conversation so far, seem absolutely lovely. More so in like the sound, in that I feel like that a lot of artists, especially young artists, you're only 21, if I'm correct.
22, I turned 22.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There's a confidence in the sound, like you're an artist who kind of fully recognizes or knows their own sound. And I feel like for some artists, they don't have that immediately, or it takes a while to find. Were you always someone growing up that was musical? Was there always something that you kind of knew you wanted to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very cliche thing to say, but, I've always been since I was like a toddler, very much inclined towards anything creatively. If it was painting or dancing or singing, even acting, I would have visitors or family friends come over, and I would, always try and get their attention by putting on some sort of performance for them. But it was definitely my grandma my grandparents looked after me a lot when I was growing up. And she really encouraged me to be really flamboyant and express that side of me, regardless of, whatever the social constructs of school or high school or whatever kind of environment I was in. She always encouraged me to push that side out as much as I can, because that's something that she was very much passionate about. So yeah, pretty much growing up, I've been very lucky to have a very sort of positive environment regarding my artistic abilities and my love for music. But obviously there are things just growing up in general, being a teenager, that will make you doubt yourself, and just people around you that will constantly make you doubt yourself. So
that's very fair. I can understand that. The EP Nocturnal Hours is out today. It is out now. As you said, you've been releasing the singles kind of throughout lockdown, but they were recorded before. How long has the whole EP been in the works, from maybe that first song written to now?
It's been in the works for quite some time now. I would probably say a year and a half. But that's also including just a lot of writing in general, just to kind of get to that point and put the EP together. And there's been a lot of kind of just honing my sound and trying to figure out what exactly it is and then put it all together. So there's definitely been a lot of tracks that people won't hear, but those are the tracks that have helped me grow to get to where I am with this EP Nocturnal Hours. So it's been a really really weird kind of past year, just kind of putting out music and not being able to meet people. I mean, as lately I have, but not at the moment with the lockdown, but that just happened in Melbourne. Yeah, it's been a weird year, but I'm just I think even though it was written quite prior to everything, over time, a lot of the music has been evolved in the past couple of months, even just little scratches, little things here and there that I've kind of like, I did this in a song that I've already released. It's kind of changed my view of some of the songs that are on the EP.
Do you find that being releasing music during this time has kind of changed your perception of what you thought it was going to be like releasing music and writing these songs, in terms of, like, as you said, there's been lockdowns. I know you recently were able to play some shows, but I imagine that your initial thought of what it was going to be like was very different.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's make music, write music, release music, perform music. Pretty straightforward. And it is, like, I think especially in the past year, if not the past, 10, 15, 20 years with social media, being an artist is so much more than just, expressing yourself creatively. It's also about, expressing yourself as a person, which is something that I wasn't really prepared for, because I naturally I find it quite difficult to open up in general. And that's why music is such a kind of therapeutic process for me, to be able to get everything out through just making music. So it's been a journey since, I know it's only been like 9 or 10 months in since I first started, but I've learned so much just about just everything outside of music, how to express myself, which is like such a basic thing. But being an artist, I think it's so important for people to figure that out, because it kind of shapes up everything. It puts everything into one big wholesome story in on top of the music.
100% agreed. I think that maybe previously, as you said, like before 10 or 20 years ago, that artists could be like just releasing music and then their personal life could be whatever. Whereas I think these days you are your brand, if that makes sense. You're your music, but you're also what you do on social media, what you say in interviews, what you do outside of that. It's everything.
Mm.
One of the tracks I wanted to talk about, because you have, as you said, been only releasing music for 9 months, To the Night featuring Vic Mensa, which is a massive get for anyone, let alone like a brand new artist. What was that experience like, and how did it even come about?
That was a crazy experience. I just remember that song was written. So actually, To the Night was one of probably the only song that was written over Zoom. And that was during the lockdown last year, the really intense one in Melbourne. And it was pretty much like done. We had the foundation all done. And I just knew that I needed a MC on the track. It just felt like the energy that the song had and the beat, it needed that kind of flavor. So initially I kind of just like put out the idea with my co-writer and producer Jared, and then we kind of just like, we're like, who can we reach out to? And he was like, oh, I know someone that knows Vic Mensa. And I was like, yeah, right. Like that's like, let's settle down here. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But we ended up just sending him the track, and he loved the track. I was like really confused. It happened really quickly as well, like very, very quickly. He got the track. He loved the track. He jumped on the track. I told him about what the song meant to me, and he loved the sentiment. And yeah, it all just happened very, very quickly, which was amazing.
That's very cool. I can imagine that when you're recording and you have that kind of feeling that when it comes together in such a beautiful and quick way, as you said, that it just, that it's kind of right in a way.
Yeah, exactly. It's I remember the moment that I heard his verse on the song. I was like blown away, because I was, how did you encapsulate everything that I kind of wanted for this song? And that was the best part, I think, just like hearing that first scratch of his vocal on the track.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of, with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts, who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
It's very cool. It is a very great track.
Thank you.
Just touching on what you were saying before, songwriting over Zoom. Did you find, I guess, what was that experience like? Because I imagine it's not the same as when you're in a room with someone, being able to kind of bounce ideas off one another.
Yeah, no, it's very kind of it's just a completely different thing. It's because in the room you have to you find a moment and then you latch onto that moment and you kind of keep expanding that and seeing how far you can take it. Whereas over Zoom, it's very easy to kind of miss those moments of writing. But luckily, I have only worked, apart from To the Night, there was, Vic's on there, and there's another producer, Lucy and Blomkamp, and we all of us worked on that one. But for all of my tracks so far, it's just been Jared Rogers and myself who've written, and he's produced all of my tracks. So when we both jumped on Zoom, it was pretty natural because we had that tuning and rhythm that we would have in the studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very Zoom is something that is amazing, but also very, like, you have to really just wrap your head around it creatively.
I feel that with the pandemic, everyone's kind of been forced to like work out how to work Zoom, like programs like this to kind of make things happen. But it is an effort to really try and get that same magic that you would in person.
Yeah, exactly. It has its, Zoom, it's sick, like, to be able to just like chat to someone from across the world and get their point of view and their perspective. So yeah, it's definitely taught me a lot about, how expansive things can get, even if you're stuck in your bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very fair. You are taking the EP out on the road in July. Firstly, I imagine that, as we've said, you're in lockdown, you're looking forward to getting out and playing these shows on the road.
Oh yeah, like live is probably it's probably the best part of being an artist. I cannot even like emphasize how incredibly happy I get when I jump on a stage and be able to like perform to people that actually like my music, which is crazy. I'm still wrapping my head around that people, are coming to shows and like wanting to watch me live. So yeah, it's something like, I'm like a little girl when it comes to live. And I could, if someone told me that I have a show every single day for like forever, I would say yes, because I just love it that much. So I'm very excited to do these headline shows in Melbourne and Sydney. And yeah, I'm just keen. I think the songs do hit different live, because people feel that change in pace, that change in tempo. And yeah, I'm very excited.
That was, the songs, they do feel like they're built for a live setting in terms of like, when listening to them and putting them on the stereo or whatever, it was like, I can see in a club, in a theatre, whatever kind of venue it might be, that it's definitely music built for a live interaction with people. So what do you think that people, other than that, what do you think people can expect from the shows?
I think they can expect kind of a very like roller coaster approach to a show. So it's not going to be just full on hard hitting music and energy. There's going to be elements of, like there'll be a sensitive side to myself that I'll present, and there's songs that people will hear on the EP that are more vulnerable. So they're definitely going to be able to expect that. And hopefully a couple of dance moves, because I like to get a bit crazy on stage. And I'm just working on like merch and some really cool stuff that I can have at the shows.
I honestly feel that in 2021, the merch game is so open to like whatever. So I'm very excited, whatever it may be, I'm very excited to see what you come out with, because I think that previously it was like posters, t-shirts, maybe like a mug, I don't know. But
can I say one thing? Can I say, I'm going to tease one of the merch because I'm just like, I just love it. I think it's so cool. I made these for my song Biryani. I made biryani spice packs with like actual biryani spices in them. So it has like, the packaging is like this like reflective rainbow packaging, and it's got my name and like biryani on it. And inside I like personally fill them up with like special spice, which is, it's going to make everyone's biryani taste so good. I thought it was so cool.
That is so good. That is so good. That's what I mean. You can really like kind of, well, you can do anything with merch, but you can really tailor it to like your interests, your like what you want to kind of have represent you as an artist and you as a person. That's very cool. That's actually one of the best things I've heard so far.
Oh my God. I'll have to get you one.
Thank you. That's very kind. I'll definitely find a way to get one. Ashwarya, would you be happy to talk about your playlist that you sent through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when we got this playlist, I did think what an absolute solid playlist it has come through. You've got Sufjan, SZA, Rihanna, Adele, some Chris Isaac, just, you know. In 2021, I think that the lines between like people's tastes are definitely getting blurred. Like people aren't just like pop people or like rock or metalheads or whatever. Where did you kind of start forming your own music taste? Like when did you start finding bands yourself and not kind of, yeah?
Well, because I grew up predominantly just listening to Bollywood music, a lot of my music taste was just influenced by film, specifically Bollywood film. So when I did end up starting to listen to Western music, I was like getting those So Fresh CDs from like JB Hi-Fi and like begging my parents to like get me the latest one. And I would listen to like, because those CDs were like the top hits of the month or the season, I was like very much consumed by like the pop music of the early 2000s, the R&B and the hip hop, like everything that was very much popular back then. And then I think it was only until later on where I started to expand my musical taste, just because of the pure like lack of exposure I had, I guess, to Western music. I was still very much like consuming, you know, the Western and Bollywood sounds. So it was later on. It was later on in life that I was kind of starting to find things myself. And that's, I guess, why a lot of the music in that list there's a lot of pop music in there. There's a lot of classics. But I just have I've always kind of like had this thing for classics. I just can't let them go. Like if someone tells me what's your favorite song or like what's your favorite thing that you're listening to right now, for some reason my head will go straight back to something nostalgic or something that I've grown up listening to.
I can definitely understand that. I feel like there's a little sense of like homeliness or a little sense of warmth when you think about like something that's nostalgic that you know very well.
Yeah, exactly.
There is Queen Bohemian Rhapsody on here, which might be one of those, and I'm wondering whether that one might have been influenced by your parents or your parents' collection. Did either of them are either of them musical actually, or does one of them have a better music taste than the other?
My parents I wouldn't consider them musical, no. But my dad thinks that he can, you know, pull a tune here and there. I grew up, obviously, you know, as much as they're supportive of my music, they didn't have a very strong influence on my musical taste. like my dad and mum and dad, they listened to like Madonna and like George Michael and like and Queen, and obviously through them I was exposed to bits and pieces of Western music. A lot of the music that they would listen to was Bollywood music, and especially Bollywood music from the 80s. So that had a more of a stronger influence on me. But like Bohemian Rhapsody was a song that I heard like in primary school, maybe. It was because we were doing a film that we had to make. It was for like a project in primary school, and we ended up using the song Bohemian Rhapsody. And I just remember hearing that song thinking like, this is so cool, not even knowing what Queen was. Like, it's completely just brand new, fresh. And then I obviously when I heard more of their stuff, I think they're quite possibly the best. They have the best music out. Even after so many years, I don't think there's anything that can beat the music that they've put out.
Musically, I feel that while there are other rock bands, like there doesn't seem to be anything that does quite meet a level of some of their best tracks or some of their bigger tracks.
Yeah, I think it's more their versatility than anything. Just like the pure, like there's such a dynamic sound in the years of everything that they put out, which is really inspiring for me.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. I can understand that. I do apologise if I'm going to butcher the name, so please correct me if I don't. Arijit Singh?
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. Arijit Singh, yeah.
Arijit Singh makes an appearance on your playlist as well. This is the part that I am going to mess up. Chana Maria?
That's not bad either. Chana Maria. That was great pronunciation.
Oh, thank you. I won't tell you how many times I practice that. What does this song mean to you, and what does it hold any special memories?
This song is actually fairly new, and it's, even though because it's so hard to put my favorite songs into such a small condensed list, but I just had to go with this one because it came out like maybe 5-6 years ago, and this artist in particular is an artist that is also, fairly new in Bollywood, in the Bollywood scene. And this song translated to English, it's very dramatic, and it's very kind of heartfelt, but in Hindi it's so beautiful. It's kind of like this, it's about kind of saying goodbye to someone, but then telling them that you'll see them again. And there's something really, bittersweet about this song. There's the vocal on Arijit is incredible. I think he's such a inspiration, even just vocally, and how he can convey so much with just so like just like in one song. It's crazy. But yeah, I think he's probably, as of recent, like a good source for me to take Bollywood music and kind of inspire me to use it in my own music.
Could we expect more influences like Bollywood in future music that's coming out in like the next EP or album or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to, because I approach music a little bit more fluidly and like I use a lot of improvisation. I try not to like preconceive how things will sound. I know a lot of artists also like to build like a little bit of a structure and plan, which I always have a structure, but when it comes to writing on the day, I like to keep things open-ended. But I 100% want to, have influences of Bollywood and be able to utilize Hindi in my music if it comes naturally. Of course.
No, I can understand that. Well, I look forward to whatever future project does come. This EP is incredible. I cannot recommend it highly enough to anyone who is listening to the podcast. Ashwarya, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Ashwarya for her time. Nocturnal Hours is out now, and we've left links in the show notes for you to stream the EP and buy tickets to her upcoming tour. We also want to give a huge shout out to Katie at Positive Feedback for helping out with today's interview. You can find a link to our Spotify playlist in the show notes, where you'll be able to listen to all of Ashwarya's picks. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Thursday and Friday morning, with guest playlists streaming on Spotify at the same time. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off your first order at bollandbranch.com, code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.